Hey, what's up? Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to do Free Advice Friday again this week? Looking forward to spending some time with you guys. Looking forward to answering your voiceover business and marketing questions as always and seeing what it is that's going on and what it is that you guys want to talk about. I survived the open session. I survived the hot seat with Hugh Klitzke. What an amazing experience that was. What an intimidating experience that was, but also a lot of fun. Having the opportunity to be directed by Hugh, if you can get past the fact that there are a lot of people watching you, just having the opportunity to be able to be directed by Hugh, what a gift. What a gift that was. He did say that I was a record setter. He actually had to upgrade his Zoom account in order to be able to accommodate. I think at the peak, there was 125 people that were watching live. And I think he said like 198 had ultimately registered or something like that. So, yeah, it was intimidating, but it was fun. And I'll tell you what, I have always talked about how important it is that you never stop coaching. I've always talked about how you need to have that outside perspective speaking into your business, and it doesn't matter what stage of your career that you are at, whether you are brand new and obviously you're coaching while you're trying to get ready, or you're a little bit more established and you're making some good money and you feel like you're there. I don't know that you're ever fully there. I don't know that you ever want to be fully there. I think you always want to be improving and looking for slight little tweaks that can give you a slight little edge or something like that. And I will say probably one of the most shocking things that Hugh said was he had me record my stuff up front. So he sent me some scripts the night before. And I guess a few hours before we actually ended up going live, he had me record 4 different scripts and send him 2 takes on each script. And then the idea was that he was going to listen to them during the live session, give me some feedback, and then have me do actual directed reads. And when we started out, he actually said in the live stream that he really only needed to take me like to that final 12 or 16%. And I was like, okay, first of all, holy crap, I didn't realize that. I was like, I thought he was going to have to take me like 60% of the way there. But the idea that he only had to take me to that final 12 or 16%. And on one hand, it's like, wow, that made me feel really, really good to know that I was that close. But at the same time, it's like, you're still 12 to 16% away. And when you're playing at a national level, for example, when you're playing with the big agents, that 12 to 16%, that final little bit, that is often the difference between getting the booking and not getting the booking, getting the short list and not getting the short list. And so it was really great to have him work with me and see subtle little things that I could change to get that final 12 to 16%. I will say that I had a couple different people, including Brad Highland, who I've been coaching with. He's like, what'd you take away from it? And I was like, dude, the whole thing was such a blur to me. I was so intimidated, so nervous the whole time. If you saw me, if you watched live, you could see like my face was beet red. I think I was having high blood pressure. But I was like, I don't remember a lot of it because it was so much of a blur. So thankfully, Hugh is going to provide me with a recording so I can go back and watch it at some point and just make some notes on it or whatever. But still, what an amazing opportunity. But I'll tell you this, even if you don't have the opportunity to sit in the hot seat, jumping in on these things when Hugh does them, and you can go to his website at conversationalvo.com to find out more about them. But every month he's doing this. Having the opportunity to sit and watch is absolutely worth it. Having the opportunity to see the kind of feedback that he gives, the type of direction that he is providing, having the opportunity to see the way that talent are responding, the little tweaks and little changes that they're making along the way, like all of those things are, they're very impactful. If you go to his website, if you go to conversationalvo.com and then you click on Open Studio up here, you can see there's a bunch of ones that are going to be coming up. He's already got a bunch on the calendar, but having the opportunity to sit and watch that, and it's free for you. Just to be clear, it is free for you to sit and watch. absolutely worth having the opportunity to be a fly on the wall and having the opportunity to audit one of these sessions with Hugh. So if you ever get that chance, and then, I mean, obviously, if you have the opportunity to do some coaching with him, I would absolutely suggest doing some coaching with him too, because man, I'll tell you what, he is a great director, and he has this way of bringing more out of you without, like, you don't even realize he's doing it. He's so good. Like, he's not like beating you over the head. He's not telling you you're doing it wrong. He's not saying do this better. Like, it's such positive reinforcement, and what a great experience. And so thank you, Hugh, for the opportunity to do that. Thank you for everybody who showed up and had the opportunity to watch, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you had a little bit of fun too. We were, obviously we were doing some scripts and whatnot, but we were also trying to have a little bit of fun while we were in the process as well. So if you had the chance to do it, thank you for coming, and I hope that you did and enjoy it. And wow, really cool stuff. Very grateful for that opportunity. Very grateful for that opportunity. Briscoe says, hey, Mark, you are way hard on yourself, man. You took direction well once you started to trust yourself and got over your nerves. And that's it. It's just, look, this is one of those things. I've talked about this before. I'm a hardcore introvert, okay? Hardcore introvert. I don't really go out. I don't really do anything social. I hang around the house. I hang out with my kids. If I've got free time, I'd just as soon sit in my office in a comfy chair and read a book. And doing the whole crowd thing, the people thing, the social thing, it's not my jam. It's never been my jam. But I talked about this originally with coaching. I knew that if I was going to do anything with my coaching, that I was going to have to get over that. And so getting up on stage at VO Atlanta, or getting up on stage at MAVO, or name the conference. And I've done tons of conferences over the years. That is not natural for me. But I forced myself to do it because I know that it's what I need to do. And that was exactly what I said to Hugh in the beginning. I'm like, look, my gut instinct is to say, no, I don't want to do this. This is going to be so nerve-wracking. I'm going to be so intimidated. I'm going to be so uncomfortable. But I knew that opportunity was going to be so valuable to me that no matter how uncomfortable I felt, shut up and do the thing. So I just want you guys to know that I do practice what I preach, right? So when I tell you, just shut up and do the thing, like, look, I do it too. I just shut up and do the thing. And so it was good. It was good to do the thing. All right, let's do some Q&A on Free Advice Friday, shall we? If you do have a question that you would like to ask and get answered, as you know, put it into the comments, or at least if you've been here before, you would know. Put it into the comments, type a Q beside it. If you've never been here live on Free Advice Friday before, same thing. Type your question in the comments, put a Q beside it. Sorry, David, let's see. What's your question? How to deal with a client who becomes difficult after a remote file submission? Not happy, angry, i.e. I re-record with a different read, resubmitted. We'll see. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt at least once. And that's just because I know I have had experiences in the past with clients who were having an off day, and it had nothing to do with me. And so if they ask me to do another take, whatever, I can do another take. Now, if we're 5 in at that point, that's a problem. I will offer, and this is something that I do a lot as well. If I've recorded on my own and submitted, and they're like, you know what, we're not there yet. Hey, let's jump on a call. Let's do a Zoom. Let's do a directed session. Let's get on Google or whatever. So my job as much as possible is to keep that client happy. Now, I'm not going to let them push me around, obviously. Not going to let them take advantage of me. But at the end of the day, my job is to keep the client happy. And I'll tell you, I had an experience with a client recently, and I referred a voice actor to them, and the voice actor did an amazing job for them. But on the retakes, they needed a couple of pickups here and there. And, the voice actor that I had referred started giving them a hard time about it. And they came back to me and they're like, hey, Mark, can we get a couple pickups from you? Yeah, no problem. Whatever you need, let me know. Did it, sent it. And then they mentioned that, this other voice actor that I had referred, they're like, what's this person? And I'm like, as far as I know, they're really great. I've never had any problems with them before. And they're like, wow, they were pretty difficult on the whole pickup thing. And I mean, everybody's got their line. Everybody has their policies, and I understand that and I respect that. But let me tell you, when that client goes to hire again, they're probably going to think twice about hiring this voice actor that I had referred to them. And that's too bad because you leave money on the table when you do that. So customer service is so key in all of this. Again, don't let them take advantage. Don't let them push you around, but don't be a pain in the butt either, because happy clients are repeat clients and they tell their friends. And that's been my mantra from the very beginning of my voiceover career. Happy clients are repeat clients and they tell their friends. Robert says, after yesterday's episode with John about modern VO websites, have you decided to make any changes to your site? I've been thinking a lot about it, actually. My site's been as it is for a few years now. I mean, it does work for me to a degree, but there are things that are changing in the industry. There are things that are changing as far as marketing is concerned. There are things that are changing on the back end. So I've had some conversations. Voice actor websites built my website. I have had some conversations with voice actor websites initially about a couple of things that I would like to tweak. I've been making some changes on the back end myself, adding a lot of new pages, adding a lot of new content, because I'm trying to get this GEO thing going. But yeah, it was a really great conversation with John. If you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to that episode, it is right here on the YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch it on the YouTube channel if you would like. It's also available wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. We talked about a lot of stuff over the course of that episode. We talked about websites. We talked about SEO versus GEO. We talked about premium LinkedIn. John's a big fan of premium LinkedIn, and we talked about why he is a big fan of premium LinkedIn. But yeah, if you just head over to the YouTube channel, it's right here. Anxiety makes me productive. That was actually one of the quotes that John said we worked through that as well to find out what he was talking about there. But so much good information in that one. If you want to check it out, actually, you know what? Here, just take a look at this.
Well, I will say, like, the imposter syndrome is very real.
From a marketing perspective, we need to be solution providers.
So much of what I do is driving people to a website.
I think that is something that we absolutely need to be paying attention to, and I think a lot of voice actors aren't.
But your name, your picture doesn't really mean anything to them.
Is SEO as much of a priority now, or is it going to be more of a GEO priority?
They focus it so much on themselves that they forget about, well, who am I actually trying to attract here?
So is it fair to say that this is a ground floor opportunity? Yeah, we had a good conversation. So check that one out. But yes, to answer your original question, Robert, there are some things that I'm looking at, some things that I've been thinking about for a while. And it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, how long are you going to think about it before you actually pull the trigger? At some point, you got to shut up and do the thing, as we were discussing earlier. How do you plan what talking points you make and writing for a presentation and webinar? I kind of work backwards. When I'm working on my stuff, like if I'm prepping something for a conference or, I'm working on a class right now, I kind of start backwards where I think about what is the ultimate objective that I want them to walk away with. By the time you've sat through this 1 hour, what is the main point that I am trying to prove? Or what is the main concept that I want you to take away? And then start working that backwards. And what are the steps that I need to take to guide you through to that ultimate point? And I'm teaching a class here March the 3rd. I'm going to be teaching a brand new class, which I'm really excited about. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, 2026 Marketing Trends for Voice Actors. And so with that one, what I did was I really just sat down and I started thinking, okay, what are some of the trends that I'm seeing right now? And I started making a list of all of these trends. And I got about 10 or 12 of them that I had written down. And I'm like, okay, these are some of the things that I see that are going on. Some of the things that I see that are really important that we need to be paying attention to. Okay, now how do I work that backwards? Let me break down each one of these trends. Okay, what does this trend mean? And then more importantly for me, because I'm all about actionable, practical, right? How do you implement it? It's one thing for me to say, this is the trend that's shifting. It's another thing for me to say, this is the trends that shift, and here's how you can practically shift with them in your voiceover business or in your voiceover marketing. So yeah, I kind of start with the end in mind and then work my way backwards a little bit on that. Can you please expound on the premium LinkedIn deal? I have been wondering for years how to use that free trial most effectively. The biggest thing to use the free trial most effectively, I think there are a couple of things that I would say. And I have played around, I've done the free trial in the past. One, it takes all the limits off of connection requests. And so you will find with LinkedIn that you are limited to the number of connection requests that you can send on a free profile. It's pretty hard to hit that number. And I don't know, there's different theories that there is a set number, but then I've also there are days when I've been cut off after 50, and there's been days when I've been cut off after 3. And so it feels like it's a little bit in flux. But premium, all bets are off. You can send as many connection requests as you want. You can add as many personal notes as you want. And if you have a free LinkedIn profile, you're only allowed a handful of those personal notes now when you're sending that connection request. You could do as many searches as you want. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things. When you are doing searches on LinkedIn, and the more filters that you add, the more specific and drilled down that the search becomes, you can only do a certain number of searches. And again, it doesn't really feel like there's a set number. It just seems like they cut you off. And sometimes they'll give you 10, sometimes they'll give you 20, sometimes they'll give you 3. And that can be really frustrating. But when you have that premium trial, if you're running that premium trial, I would say make sure that you have a plan in place. Okay, I'm going to run that trial in March. I'm going to take advantage of it. And I'm going to set aside a couple of hours every day to really dive into LinkedIn. I'm going to do some really specific drilled down searches. I'm going to send a whole bunch of connection requests to some strategic people that I really want to get connected to. I'm going to add all of those personal notes. Like, you're really just going to take advantage of everything that it offers. And so if you're trying to take advantage, the most advantage of the free LinkedIn trial, I would say that that's probably the way to do it. Was it you or Hugh that came up with the Dr. Pepper background for the survey? Yes, that was all Hugh. He actually sent me the link just before we went live, and he said, did you have a chance to check this out? And I'm so dumb. I'm sitting there just scrolling through because I'm nervous, right? This is a few minutes before we go live. We're already on the Zoom call, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm reading the survey. I get down to the bottom, and it's like, hey, if you enjoyed it, but buy us a Dr. Pepper or something like that. And I was like, oh, he threw Dr. Pepper in there, and he's like, Mark, did you see the background? And then I look and I'm like, okay, duh, sorry. Little nervous right now. Totally missed that. So yes, I did realize it after he pointed it out to me. But yeah, that was all Hugh that did that. What else is going on, guys? What other questions can I answer for you for Free Advice Friday? Again, this is free for all. If you have any questions that you would like to ask and get answered, how has the Voice123 front been going for you? Currently sitting at a 1-in-3 audition to like ratio. I'm at a 1-in-16 booking ratio. And just this week, I got into the top 20% finally, which is crazy because I've been a 1-in-3. I think at my worst, I was a 1-in-4 audition to like ratio. But for quite a while now, I've been running an average 1-in-3 audition to like. So I didn't think that it would take me this long to get into the top 20%. Like, keep in mind, I've been running a 1-in-3 audition to like ratio going back to, I don't know, November. But I just broke into the top 20% this week, finally. Hopefully I can stay there. Getting into the top 20%, I would say the biggest shift has been that I've been starting to see more daytime auditions. So up until this point, even into the top 30%, a lot of my auditions were still coming overnight. And a lot of my auditions were expired or closed by the time I got into the studio in the morning. So now that I've hit into the top 20%, I'm definitely starting to see some more daytime auditions, which has been nice. Still not seeing anything with real big budgets. Most of it is $300 to $500. So when I get that weekly digest from Voice123 that shows, all the big budget projects that matched my profile, I'm not getting any of those at this point still. But at least I'm getting some more daytime auditions, which is giving me more opportunities to audition. So the experiment with Voice123 at this point continues on. But yeah, it definitely, the biggest shift that I have seen, other than going to 2,200, was getting into that top 20%. So I can only assume that if I'm able to work my way into the top 10%, that will probably shift even further. All right, what else is going on? Tab says, haven't gotten to watch the new website video yet, but what are your thoughts on including backlinks and how do you implement them effectively? Backlinks obviously have SEO value, but it depends on partly, and I'm not an SEO expert, so I'm just going to put that out there, but partly it depends on the sites that you're getting backlinks from. So if you are getting backlinks from good, reputable, high-ranking sites, there's a lot more value there than if you're just getting backlinks from like random sites wherever you happen to put them. The other thing that I think, if I understand it correctly, is cross-linking. So cross-linking from within your own website. So for example, every one of the docu-shorts that I have created, I have made a post for on my website. So it has a page on my website. And so if I have, I don't know, let's just say that I do one of them, an extreme weather one. On that post that I've created on my website for that video, at the bottom of that video, I will say, if you enjoyed this, you may enjoy these, and I will link back to 3 other related videos. And so that's cross-linking. And so there's value in the cross-linking as well. But again, not an SEO expert, still trying to learn some of this stuff as I go. The big thing is just, it's regular content, I think, is a big part of it, right? Most of us, and I'm guilty of this, most of us get our website built and then we just let it sit there. We drive traffic to it. You know, you're driving traffic to it through social media. You're driving traffic to it through your email marketing efforts. But by and large, you just build it and let it sit there. And I built mine and let mine sit there for a really long time. When I started doing these docu-shorts, it was the first time that I felt like, okay, I've actually got some content that I can add to this thing. And that is getting my website refreshed. And so in the last several months, I've added hundreds of new pages to my website. And that has made a significant difference. And I've seen that in my Google Analytics, and I've seen that in my Google Search Console as well. I can see that I'm showing up more, getting more click through, all of that sort of stuff, which has been really good. But yeah, backlinks definitely have value if you can get them. And there's some value in cross-linking as well. So again, if you have a question that you would like to ask for Free Advice Friday, by all means, this is your opportunity. Don't be shy. I am certainly happy to answer as many questions as I can today. If you're going to type it into the comments, just start your question with a Q. It just helps it to stick out in my screen a little bit once the chat gets going. But whatever you want to talk about, voiceover business and marketing wise, I'm here to answer as many questions as I can while we are here. Enduring Media LLC, it's been a rough go so far, but I'm still building things out, mostly nighttime crud, but it's a process for sure. Glad to hear it's improving. Yeah, that's been the number one complaint that I've heard across the board is the nighttime thing. And I'll tell you, when I went from 888, I never made it higher than the top 40%. Even when I was running a 1 in 3 audition to like ratio, never made it higher than top 40%. All of my auditions were, well, not all. The vast majority of my auditions were arriving between 2 and 4 a.m., and most of them were closed by the time I got into the studio in the morning. When I went to 2200, I started getting some a little bit sooner than that. And when I got into the top 30%, I started seeing auditions coming between like 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. So they were technically coming earlier, but I still wasn't in the studio and able to do them. So that was frustrating. Top 20% though, definitely seeing some daytime ones. It really feels like that. The biggest factor seems to be the percentile. It seems to be the percentile that you're in. Yes, obviously, if you're an elite member, that makes a difference too. But even if you're an elite member, you've still got to be in the top probably 10 or 20 percentile to make elite work for you. And my hope is that if you are an elite member, that you can rank up there anyway. But it's so interesting having conversations with people and hearing, like I talked to somebody the other day whose booking ratio was quite a bit lower than what mine was, but they're ranked higher than I am. And I'm like, there are things about the site that I just don't understand, but whatever. It's been an interesting experiment, and it is getting me some access to some auditions, and so I certainly can't complain about that. How's the baby? We haven't seen her since Christmas, I believe. Yeah, the problem is that Free Advice Friday lands during nap time. So she is literally straight over my head right now in her nursery, napping. But yes, one of these days, I will figure out a way to get her in here to make a little bit of an appearance. I did post a picture yesterday, 2 days ago, in the VOpreneur Facebook group, because she came into my office and she was racing fire trucks on my desk while I was trying to work. She's very cute, so I let her get away with it. What time are you getting up to begin auditioning these days? Yeah, I'm not in the studio before 9 o'clock. I'm not a morning person, period. I'm just not. And plus, I got to take my kids to school. And so I'm not getting into the studio until after I've taken my kids to school. Now, occasionally, if I'm sitting up at 10 o'clock at night and I'm reading, because normally I read like 10 till 11, 10 till midnight. That's usually when I read. If I'm sitting there reading and something decent comes in, or something that I really think like, oh yeah, I'm a good fit for that one, I might go into the studio and record it at night. I don't do that very often, but the couple of times that I've done that, I've pulled out the likes for them. Haven't pulled out the bookings, but pulled out the likes for them. But yeah, very seldom in the studio before 9. It's just not a morning person. I did morning radio for a few years, and I'd have to get up at like 3:30 in the morning to go to work. And when I stopped doing radio, I said, from now on, I sleep until I'm done. That was my philosophy, was I sleep until I'm done. No more living by the alarm. I sleep until I'm done. And if that's, 7 o'clock, great. 8 o'clock, great. If that's noon, great. Doesn't matter. I sleep until I'm done. Well, that worked right up until I had 4 kids. Now things have changed a little bit because I got to get up in the morning, and especially now I got to get up and take Kaylee to school, take her to kindergarten every day. So yeah, things are a little bit different now. I have to live by an alarm clock again. Just not a 3:30 in the morning alarm clock, thankfully. What else do you guys want to talk about? What other questions can I answer for you? Again, just a reminder, my brand new workshop, 2026 Marketing Trends. I spent the first few weeks of January really digging deep into this, reading a ton, like so many articles and posts and blogs and things like that, reading some studies and downloading some white papers and all this kind of stuff, just trying to really look at what are the trends that are happening in marketing in 2026, and then how does that translate specifically to a voice actor? Because it's great that there are just generalized marketing trends, but what does that specifically look like for a VOpreneur? And what does that mean? So, okay, this is the trend that shifted, but how do I actually implement that in my business? Or how do I adapt what I am doing in my business to follow along with that trend? So that's what this workshop is all about. It's going to be a 1-hour session. I'm going to identify about 10 different trends that I see going on right now and give you some practical strategies for each one of those trends. So it is going to happen live on March the 3rd, 7 o'clock Eastern. It's about 70% sold out right now. So if you want to grab a seat, grab a seat. If you are unable to attend live, don't worry. Grab your seat anyway. A complete video replay will be available the following day. So everybody will get access. You will not miss anything. Time permits, I'll stick around afterwards and do a little bit of a Q&A as well. But if you go to VOpreneur.com and click on store, it's right here. 2026 Marketing Trends. And if you click on there, $47 for a 1-hour session where we're going to dive deep. Let me put this link in the chat. Marketing Trends. There we go. Link is in the chat. Would love to have you there. Would love to have you sign up, and I'll be able to walk you through everything that I'm seeing. Tanya says, good news about the reduced nighttime audition shift on Voice123. It's hard to get the voice fully warmed up first thing in the morning. I just want to have a chance. That's all. And so it was really frustrating to see, oh man, I had like 8 auditions land in my inbox overnight. And oh, gee, every single one of them is already oversubscribed or shut down when I get into the studio in the morning. And it's like, what exactly am I paying for at this point? Like that was the frustration. But I'm glad that has finally changed a little bit. Does this question show up? None of the other ones have. Oh, well, hey, if I missed your question, I certainly do apologize. Let me go back and see. Sometimes when the chat gets really busy, I miss things. I don't see anything else in the chat. But if you do have a question, please don't be afraid to ask. Putting the cue beside it just helps me to see it when things get going in the chat. But I'm certainly happy to answer as many questions as I can. What else is going on? What do you guys want to talk about? If I did miss your question, by the way, I certainly apologize. And don't be afraid to post it again. I see that John is hanging out in the chat here with us today, watching the live stream. Again, make sure you go back and listen to the episode and get onto his website as well. Get signed up for his website tips because there's some really helpful information that he's sending out through his newsletter as well. With all your Dr. Pepper consumption, no judgment, I'm addicted to Diet Coke. How do you keep that cool, clean edge in your voice? Cheers. Yes, I drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. I try not to drink it when I'm in the studio. I try not to drink it if I know I'm going to be auditioning or if I'm getting ready for a session. I certainly try not to drink it. But that's mostly just because I don't want to be belching in the middle of a session. That's awkward. If you've been there, done that before. One thing, if you do it when you're recording on your own, not a problem. That's funny. When I'm recording a voiceover by myself and I belch in a session, one of my favorite things to do is to edit out the belch and then title it "Listen to This.mp3," and then I'll send it to my wife or send it to one of my kids at school, and then they get this thing and it says "Listen to this" or "Open immediately" or something like that, and then they open it on their phone and then it's just me belching, which I think, that's just me being a dad. I think it's hilarious, but a totally different scenario if you're in the middle of a Source Connect session or a Google session or a Zoom directed session or something like that. But yeah, I try to avoid it. Mostly try to drink. I like one. It's like, how on a really hot day, you finished off work and you sit down in your recliner and you just want to have a nice cold beer. I don't drink. So that's Dr. Pepper for me. Is at the end of the day, I just want to sit down with a cold Dr. Pepper and just read a book or, watch a documentary or something like that. But now that it's become so associated with my brand, I feel like it's almost essential for me to have one, if I'm doing a live stream or if I'm doing a workshop or, guys, everybody that saw me in the hot seat with Hugh, I had a Dr. Pepper there. Yesterday, I recorded the Try VO Pursuits podcast with Ryder. He had invited me on the show, so we recorded that last night. And of course, I had to have a Dr. Pepper when I was there. And so part of it is just, it's like brand association and almost like there's an expectation now that you need to, what? Mark doesn't have a Dr. Pepper? What's going on? Is he okay? Robert says, I remember you saying you were coaching more for commercial work lately. Have you seen an increase in booking in commercial work? I've been coaching. I've been working with Brad Highland on commercial. I did actually just get an on-hold notice from my agent today for a commercial. And that was one that I have recorded since I've been, like an audition that I had submitted since I was working with Brad. So I will give him some credit on that one. At this point, I don't get a ton of access to commercial. I've got 2 agents that send me some stuff, but not a ton of stuff at this point. So part of what I'm also working towards, I just recorded a new commercial demo with JMC. We did that session February 10th. I think we did that session. So in the next few weeks, that demo will drop, and I'm hoping that that's going to be a good demo. It's a JMC demo, so I trust that it will be good, but obviously it depends on me and whether or not I did good. But the goal is to take that JMC commercial demo and try to pick up a few more agents so that I can have access to some more commercial opportunities. It's just, commercial is not a genre that I have focused on a lot in the past because it's a genre that I have struggled with. And I've never hidden the fact that I've struggled with commercial. And so I've traditionally been more of a non-broadcast guy. A lot of corporates and explainers and e-learnings and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm at a point where I have something to prove to myself is really what it comes down to. It's not, I've never been a guy who needs to chase particular credits or, say, hey, I've done a Super Bowl ad or I've done a national for this or whatever. Like that's never been the thing that motivates me. But I'm at a point in my career now where there's a legitimacy, I guess, maybe that comes with commercial. And I didn't always think that way, but now for me, I'm starting to feel that way. Like, can you really do this? Can you actually do this? Like, that's the question that I'm asking myself. And so I've got something to prove to myself right now. And I think there's also something in there for me psychologically, like I need to have the next conquest. I need something to go after. I need a goal that I am working towards. And so everything is lining up right now. It was work with Brad to get better in that space, try to improve the commercial read. Voice123 came at the suggestion of Brad, just get me access to more auditions and more opportunities. Although I will say, I'm not really auditioning for much commercial stuff on Voice123, but that's primarily because almost every commercial job that I'm seeing on Voice123 at this point is a $250 or $300 global in perpetuity, all usage. And I'm like, I'm not signing up for that crap. But I'm on a very specific trajectory right now. Work with Brad. Brad gets me on Voice123, gets me access to some more auditions so that we've got some things to work on together. Turn that into working with JMC in order to get that new commercial demo, take that commercial demo, and then leverage that into landing a couple of new agents, hopefully with those agents getting access to more commercial opportunities to actually have a chance at booking some more of this stuff, and then walking that road down towards TV narration, which is, for me, is the ultimate end goal. So everything is, there's a whole strategy at play right now. I'm playing chess against myself, I guess, but yeah, it felt good this morning to get the notice that I had been put on hold for a spot, and that was with my Canadian agent. So, fingers crossed that one comes through. Briscoe says, Mavo this year. I mean, I am always open to it. Generally speaking, Val brings me back every other year just because she likes to rotate speakers. She doesn't want to always have the same people there. So because I was there in this past the 2025, I probably won't get the invite for 2026, but I would certainly do it if the invitation came. I love Mavo. All right, what else? How often do you book on Voices without being shortlisted? So I'm not on voices.com. I'm not allowed. They literally, they will not let me on the site. The jobs that I have booked on Voice123, I have got likes for, which, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the like is basically the equivalent of a shortlist on Voice123. So I have not yet had an experience where, actually, that's not true. The first job that I booked, I did not get a like on. After they booked me, I asked them to give me the like. Because there's a lot of people that don't actually understand how that works. Cameron says, Mark, you can't just show up to a conference. I mean, I could, but I would rather go if I'm speaking and it gives me something to do. I don't know. I know I could. One of these days I might show up to something just as an attendee, just to hang out. But, when you're going for a speaker, especially when you're coming from Canada, it's expensive to come from Canada. It's expensive to travel down there. So when I'm going as a speaker and, they cover my registration or my hotel or whatever, every little bit helps. But yeah, what I would really like to do this year, I'm really hoping that I can do One Voice Dallas. I've never done One Voice in Dallas before. I would love to go to Texas. Obviously, my heart holds a special place for Texas because of barbecue and Dr. Pepper. So I would love to have the opportunity to come to One Voice and speak there and go get some barbecue and go to the Dr. Pepper Museum and do that whole entire thing and just speak at a conference that I've never spoken at before as well. So that'd be fun too. I mean, I guess I could speak at WoVOCon. I wonder where WoVOCon's going to be this year. Hey, Cameron, do you know where WoVOCon's going to be this year? Just curious if is that out yet? Does anybody know yet where WoVOCon's going to be this year? Just curious. Hey, Mark, sounds like you're dealing with some imposter syndrome within the commercial work. It sounds like something we touched on in the podcast. There's definitely an element of it. I have never hidden my struggles with commercial. Coming from radio, obviously the way that the commercial was done in radio, particularly when I was in radio, it was very different. I was king of the announcer rip and read. I mean, I owned the announcer rip and read. That was my jam. And that is not what books commercial today. So that's always been a struggle for me, is just trying to overcome that and trying to figure out this whole conversational thing and what the heck does conversational mean, and ask 25 different people what conversational means and get 25 different answers, which just makes it even more confusing. And so there's a little bit of imposter syndrome there maybe, but that's also why I'm doing the things that I'm doing right now, to try to prove to myself that, you know what, no, you can do this. You got this. That's what working with Brad's been about. That's what working with Hugh and doing the open session was about. That's what doing the JMC commercial demo has been all about, is just, again, just proving to myself, yeah, You can do this. Texas in August sounds miserable. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little toasty there. But come on, Briscoe. You don't want to go for barbecue with me in Texas? You don't want to go for some authentic Texas barbecue? You don't want to make the pilgrimage to Hard 8 for some brisket, and some ribs, and some pulled pork? Like, who cares how hot it is? Doesn't that make it worth it? Wouldn't that be enough? There it is. Everybody's going to WoVOCon 2026 in NOLA. Going to get your crawfish and your gumbo and your jambalaya and your etouffee. Yes. That's what's going on. Cameron says, so in the spirit of shut up and do the thing, you're going to do improv with me now, right? Absolutely, unequivocally, no. And yes, Cameron, I did see your comments popping up in the chat throughout the night when I was doing the thing with Hugh. But I was so focused on not humiliating myself that I didn't have time for any snarky replies in the comments. But I did see you there, and I did see all of your little improv comments that you were dropping in there. Born and raised in Texas, I can attest it is in fact awful. I was in Texas in 2019. I can't remember when. I don't think it was in the summer. I don't think we were in the heart of summer. I think it was probably maybe in the spring. So it wasn't crazy yet. But again, I was going for barbecue and Dr. Pepper. I don't care what the weather's like. I just want barbecue and Dr. Pepper. You guys don't understand. It's been like minus 100 in Canada for the last 6 weeks. So take me somewhere where it's warm. I'll deal with it. Take a sweater or jacket to OVC Dallas. Crazy hot outside, but the AC inside is crippling. Yes, that is actually part of JMC's rider. You guys don't know this, but it's actually contractually written into the agreement with the hotel that the air conditioning has to be set at like 64 or some ridiculous thing. That's an ongoing thing with JMC. We tease them about it all the time. It's like it's got to literally be 1 degree above meat locker in any hotel where JMC is making an appearance. You know, some people that are doing stuff, they put it into their rider that they want, you know, a big bowl of M&Ms with all the orange ones picked out, or, you know, they want chilled Dr. Pepper sitting in the bowl or what. No, JMC, it's like, no. I just need the whole entire hotel to be 64 degrees. That's it. If it's over 64 degrees, we're canceling our event and taking it somewhere else. And any of you that have been in the industry long enough and have done enough sessions with JMC, you know this. You know that no matter where you go, you bring a hoodie and you wear it in the hotel, because otherwise you're literally going to freeze your butt off. But it's okay because we love JMC. So we let them get away with it. Mark, you did awesome with Hugh. He always does the session at WoVOCon, and it's always amazing. Jeez, Cameron, you're such a hard sell. Wow. Tried to do a coaching session with her the other day, and rather than asking me about, you know, hey, Mark, can you help me with this part of my marketing? It was a 30-minute hard sell for WoVOCon. Now here she is on Free Advice Friday doing a hard sell for WoVOCon. It's either that, she's either hard selling me for WoVOCon or hard selling me for a Timprov session. Clearly she must be a Timprov affiliate, or she gets some sort of kickback or something like that, because every single thing that comes out of her mouth, it's either one or the other. Mark, when are you going to do improv? Mark, when are you going to come to WoVOCon? I told you, Cameron, I will come to WoVOCon when you put it back in Vegas. There you go. I'm putting that out there right now. You put WoVOCon back in Vegas so I can go to Cirque du Soleil, and I can go to Hot and Juicy Crawfish, and I can go to Gordon Ramsay's burger joint, and I can go to Bobby Flay's burger joint, right? So you put WoVOCon back in Vegas just for 1 year, and I will show up so that I can enjoy all of those things. Okay, there you go. You heard it here first. Mark the date. February 20th, 2026. Mark Scott says he's going to WoVOCon as soon as they bring it back to Vegas. All right, let's see. What else is going on? What do you guys want to talk about? What questions? What questions can I answer for you? What do you guys want to ask? This is your opportunity. Anything you want to talk about, business and marketing. Where else do you get a session like this? Where else do you get an opportunity like this? I mean, you can book a private session with me, $175 an hour, or you can just hang out with me right here on Free Advice Friday and get your questions asked and answered for absolutely free. By the way, if you are enjoying the live stream today, if I've answered one of your questions, please hit that like button. I would certainly appreciate it. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. That way you will get notified whenever I am coming on and doing a live stream again sometime. But if there's anything that I can answer for you, a question that you would like to ask, please, please, please let me know. Liz, why are you saying things like that? Why you got to be talking like this? I helped run 4 of them in Vegas, never again. I know Vegas was really expensive, but it was so much fun. There's so many fun things to do in Vegas. My wife and I love going to Cirque shows. It is so exciting for me to go to Gordon Ramsay's burger restaurant. I love being able to take the drive out to the Red Rock Canyon or to take the drive out to the Hoover Dam. There's so much fun stuff to do in Vegas, and I miss it. And so, one more time, for old time's sake, come on, Liz, be a team player. For old time's sake, back to the roots. Remember all those years? Where did we go the first time? We were in the Hilton. We were in that Hilton, that new Hilton that wasn't even fully built yet. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, way off the strip. Nobody liked that. So then we started going to the Tropicana. Tropicana was fun. Last time we were there, Robert Irvine was opening up a restaurant, but his restaurant wasn't open yet, so I didn't get to go to it, which I was really bummed about. I would love to go to Robert Irvine's restaurant. I love watching Robert Irvine on Food Network. Okay, well, Liz is ruining it for me. She says she's never going to do it in Vegas again, so that's it. That's out. Game over. Total bummer. Totally lost the roots. Totally lost the roots of the WoVOCon. No Cirque du Soleil for me. Ugh. That's a bummer. You guys ever seen Cirque du Soleil? Man, I love Cirque du Soleil. All right. Anybody else got any other questions? Ask and get answered. Don't be shy. What strategies are new for 2026 for email marketing to other small businesses? I'm literally teaching a class on this in 2 weeks. You want me to give away all the stuff that's in the class? I can't give away all the stuff that's in the class. Let's see. I'll tell you the big thing. The big thing right now is personalization. That is the big thing. And I mean, this is something that I've been talking about for a really, really long time, but we're still missing the mark on it. We're missing the mark on it because personalization takes time. Writing a generic letter and blitzing it out to a whole crap ton of people does not take time. Sitting down and actually taking the time to research a lead, learn something about them, find a way to make a personal connection with them, and write a more personal email, it takes more time. And so nobody wants to do it because it's harder, it's more effort. But I'm telling you, it works, and it's going to be the only thing that works. Like, the hit rate on generic messaging is just going to continue to fall off a cliff. And I know there are some other people out there that teach that strategy and sell classes and tools and resources to do that strategy. It's not going to work. Not in the age of AI, when we are already skeptical of everything. It's not going to work. And so you will be in a position where you'll probably be able to send fewer emails just because, we all only have so many hours in a day, but you can get away with sending fewer emails if you're getting a higher conversion rate, and you're going to get that with your personalization. That is a big thing. Liz says, you can go there on your own. Yes, I can go to Vegas on my own, but I can't write the entire thing off as a business trip if I'm not going to a conference. And so I need the conference to give me the opportunity to write the whole thing off as a business trip. That's the only way that I can fly to Vegas first class and write it off. And so this is why I need help me, Liz. Help me, Liz. Do you do any character work, or do you do exclusively acting within your normal speaking voice? Yeah, I am not a character guy. So I operate right here. I operate right here across multiple genres, but yeah, no character stuff for me. I'm intrigued by it. I think it's fun to watch. I love watching other people do character work and the way that they come up with their voices and the expression, the physicality of character work. I think it's really fun to watch, but just not something that I have any skill in at this point. Am I going to be able to tell you what my marketing has said so you can explain how awful it is in this class? You're probably not going to be able to tell me specifically what your marketing has said within this class, but do you have some time left with me? I think you might have some time left with me, and we can take a look at that. Do you really think that it's awful? Like, really, do you think that it's awful? Run a class of your own there. Liz, that's so much more work. It's so much more fun when somebody else is doing all of the background work and I just show up. I will get you. I will get you. I learned to juggle from a Cirque performer. Oh, look at that. Man, we have so much fun at the Cirque shows. I've seen a few of them. I saw the Michael Jackson one. I've seen O twice. The Stare. Ka. I've seen a few of them. Never seen a bad one. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? I just got a new connection today with the filmmaker from an email I sent after personalizing the email. I'm telling you. I mean, I've been telling you for a decade, but a lot of people still aren't listening. So now I'm going to tell you more forcefully. If your email marketing is not working, I think there's a very high probability that the reason why it's not working is because you're not personalizing it. I really honestly think that. My question was about when an audition direction isn't extremely clear, how to approach, how many takes do you do? It's a struggle with character work to hit 1 or 3 character versions. Yeah. Most of the time, I'm not doing more than 2 takes unless they specifically ask for it. Every once in a while, I get something from my agent that asks for 3 takes. I really do enjoy it if they're asking for 3 takes when they give me 3 different sets of direction. That doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes they'll say, we want you to do one like this, and we'd like to hear a second version like this, and a third version that sounds like this. I'm like, okay, that makes it clear. That gives me something to work with at this point. The first one, I'm trying to just give them my interpretation of their direction. Like I'm really just trying to understand what they're asking for. And you're right, sometimes it's completely ambiguous. Sometimes it feels like they just threw the whole dictionary in there just to sound intelligent. And then try to make sense of all of that doesn't actually make any sense at all. One of the things that I said when I was doing the session with Hugh, somebody asked me about, how do you figure out which direction you're going to go? Sometimes I'm just looking for that one word or that one specific thing that they say. So when they all say, we want to hear your authentic, genuine, conversational, guy next door, friendly voice, like you're talking to a friend or a neighbor over the fence, right? Almost every audition says some variation of that. But then it might say, but you're tough, or like you don't care, or like you're trying to be warm and empathetic. And so I'm like, okay, empathetic, let's grab that. Or don't care. Yeah, throw it away. I can do that. Right. So I'm literally sometimes just looking for that little thing. And then on the second take, I'm just trying to mix it up somehow. And sometimes that's coming from a slightly different perspective. I'm been working a lot with leading myself in. So like having a pre-life, some people call it pre-life, some people call it the lead in, but it's almost like I'm having a conversation with myself in the booth that leads me in. So I'm literally talking through it before I actually get into the thing. So for example, if you go to the, look, this page here, right? So the marketing trends page, it says, stop guessing what's working, start marketing in 2025. Okay. So stop guessing what's working. So I might actually be in the booth saying, hey, look, I understand that marketing is really frustrating for you and you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing right now. So stop guessing on what's working. And so I've given myself that whole lead in. But then if I want to come at it from a different way, I might be like, are you completely exasperated and frustrated and out of your freaking mind with marketing? Well, then stop guessing what's working. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm literally having that whole conversation in the booth before I lead into the script. And sometimes that's what's helping me to get to a second kind of take. But I will confess fully, take two, oh my gosh. It is literally like one of my greatest frustrations right now. I recently purchased a class from Kelly Mashinsky, Finding You in Take Two. And I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I purchased it. I'm looking forward to getting into that because I'm actually hoping that that will give me some ideas for how do you take a totally different stroll into Take Two. All right, let's see what else. WoVOCon in Portland. I'd go to Portland. I would do Portland. That'd be fun. I think there's some things to see in Portland. That'd be all right. I would really love it if you did one in Boston and if you timed it for when the Red Sox were in town so that I could have an excuse to come and see the Red Sox play at Fenway and again, write the whole trip to Boston off as a business expense. So, Liz, put that in your pocket as a possibility as well. Within your cold emails, are you linking to your website in line or are you giving it its own line in the email body? I am making it a part of the email. I really believe, and I think there's data that backs this up. I've seen data that backs this up. The more steps that you make somebody take, or the more barriers that you put between a person and the end result or the end action, the less likely they are to get there. And so I hear people all the time that say, well, I don't put my website in the email because it's in my signature. Well, now you're making the assumption that they're going to look at your signature or that they're going to scroll through all of the 15 links that you have in your email signature because you also link to all of your social media profiles and everything else. And they're going to take the time to sort through all of those and find the link to your website and then click onto your website. And so every time you make them take another extra step, there's a higher probability that you're going to lose a percentage of them. And so if I say, give my demos a listen at markscottvoiceover.com, it's right there. But if I say, give my demos a listen, the link is in the signature, well, now I've just made them have to go and look for it. So I'm making them take an extra step. And as soon as I put them in a position where they have to take an extra step, at least a percentage of those people are not going to take that extra step. I want to get as many conversions as possible. So I want to make it as absolutely easy as possible. So give my demos a listen at my website at markscottvoiceover.com. Boom. And it's right there. So that is the way that I am approaching it. I hate doing the second take. It's so hard. I'm telling you, it's one of the things that I've struggled with. But Kelly's course, I'm looking forward to getting into Kelly's course. Let me look it up. Finding You in Take Two, and it's not an expensive class. Where is that? Voicecaster Lab, my courses. Oh, no, it's not there. Courses. Where is it? Casting conversation. Finding your authentic voice. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? It's got to be here somewhere. Basics. Finding your authentic voice. Master your marketing is snag. Add copy for podcasters. Job titles, 30-day Kelly's Secrets, home studio. I don't even see where it is on our website right now, but I know it's there somewhere because I bought it. But anyway, there was a class that she was offering and it was called Finding You in Take Two. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I need because I have no idea what Take Two. I struggle with Take Two. So I'll have to find out where the link is for that and I'll let you guys know, but definitely worth checking out. If I want to fix my website, should I do that before I continue marketing to new leads? Okay, I think there's a good question. Because for a lot of people, they would use that as an excuse. Oh, got to fix my website. No more marketing. Because we're always looking for an excuse to not do marketing. So the first question I would ask is, does your website serve the basic purpose that it needs to serve right now? If I go to your website, okay, maybe it's not perfect. That's okay. Nobody's website's ever perfect. We're constantly iterating and improving and adding new things that we've learned and whatnot. But if I go there right now, can I get a sense of who you are? Can I hear your demos? Can I get in touch with you if I'm interested in working with you? I mean, if you can give me that basic stuff on your website right now, then no, you don't need to stop marketing at this point. Now, if you absolutely hate your website, you're going to blow the whole entire thing up. You're going to overhaul the entire thing because it looks like it was built on GeoCities in 1998. Obviously, that is a different scenario, in which point maybe, yes, you want to make, you want to wait a little bit. But if it's not that extreme, I think you get away with it. And then for all those leads that you reached out to and those people who became prospects when the new website's launched, well, that just gives you an opportunity to follow up with them at that point. John says, I literally meant within a sentence or within its own billboarded line in the body of an email, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it's my final paragraph. Give my demos a listen at markscottvoiceover.com. That is its own sentence within the email. I don't bury it inside of another paragraph. It is its own sentence / paragraph so that it really sticks out. But it's included in the main body of the email, and I'm not asking them to go anywhere else to find the link or to be able to click through or whatever. All right, guys, I got to run. I've got stuff that I have to do, but thank you for joining Free Advice Friday, as always. Head to the website, vopreneur.com. Click on the store button. I would love to see you in that workshop that is happening on March the 3rd. So click on that store button. Again, it is happening Tuesday, March the 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern is when it will go live. Going to be about an hour-long workshop. If you cannot attend live, sign up anyway. Everybody who signs up will get access to a complete video replay, so you will not miss anything if you are unable to attend live. We're about 70% sold out right now, and I'm anticipating the way it's going that it probably will. So again, vopreneur.com, click on the store button. It's right here, marketing trends for 2026. I'm going to walk you through everything that I see shifting, and then I'm going to give you some practical strategies for how you can shift with it and how you can implement those things into your own marketing. I think it's going to be really helpful. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. As always, I appreciate it. Before you jump out, hit that like button as you make your exit. I would certainly appreciate it. Let me look at my calendar quickly. Do I have Free Advice Friday in for next week? Today. I think I probably will be able to go next week. So if I am able to go next week, I will get it up early on the YouTube channel. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll get notified as well. All right. Whatever you decide to do this weekend, as always, have fun, stay safe, go find some leads.